welcome to another episode of Unfiltered Talk Show. My name is Ahmed Hafsa. I'd like to take this moment to apologize for the inconvenience of not bringing you the episode for the last 2 weeks due to unavoidable circumstances. Remember, on 30th June of this year, there is an event road race which is 21 kilometers sponsored by Mona Sporty in Eldoret. For registration, you can visit their offices in Haiti's building, 4th floor, Atlanta Media Room, or at the Anchor Building, room number 306, Gerard Travel Agency. And here in our studio we have a guest none other than Chrispine Omondi, whom I would like him to introduce himself and give us a short background about himself.
My name is Chrispine Omondi, and I've been coaching, voluntarily coaching athletics for the last 30 years or more. And basically, the cycling background, I was the Kenya cycling captain, the national cycling captain for 10 years or so. In the 1990s, I led the Kenyan team to the Olympic Games in Zimbabwe, Continental Championships, and led the Kenyan team to Commonwealth Games in cycling in 1998 in Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia. I did a lot of professional cycling in Europe, in Britain, and Switzerland, Belgium, Holland, Italy. And then my initial career was teaching. I did physical education at the university and geography. And so when I came down to settle down to teach the students, I taught them, coached them in cycling, and then I came to Rift Valley where the bulk of the world champions in running come from, and I was forced to coach both cycling and athletics. I developed more interest in athletics because when I coached my students for 2 or 3 years, I realized that they could easily beat the world champions on the streets of Eldoret. And so I got a bit more curious and tried to coach more distant runners and more middle distance runners. And dozens of them now I've seen them in the world map, in the Olympics, World Championship, they break world records. And I do all this out of passion as a volunteer. Nobody pays me, and when I finish with them in high school, I don't really chase them after they go to other big teams. No, my work is to do it in high school level, to do it at the college level, and then after that, other people take over them.
How do you manage, or how did you manage coaching, cycling, athletes, and being a teacher? How did you manage those three?
Being a physical education teacher, most of the time we spend time with students who are active. And so if you've got some passion in particular sports like running or cycling, it's very easy to get a group of students who have formed a cycling or a running club, or you formed a club with them within the institution or within the schools in the neighborhood. So it was just a matter of planning my time well, and since it was innately in me to be active with the students, always to be outside in the field, always to be outdoors, always to be training them, exercising them. I've been exercising, coaching all school teams in physical fitness. So it naturally fell in my heart that it was my passion, and I never struggled to do it. I loved it.
So you had a swift time doing all this?
Yes, even now.
You say you do it as a passion. Despite everything, there are challenges. What challenges do you face?
Well, the main challenge is normally, of course, with material resources. Sometimes you'd like all the runners to have good equipment, and they don't have it. The school does not have the money to buy all the equipment necessary or sufficient equipment for all the athletes. Of course, with cycling it's a lot more difficult because bikes are expensive. But apart from the challenge of material, financial resources to get them to the races, travel them around for the races, I think the other aspects might just be maybe challenges with some of them who are not able to cope up with their schoolwork, and they get several punishments and referrals to repeat. Sometimes I've had to handle athletes who are very good and who could not perform well academically, and I had to advise them, if they were not fitting in the institutions, to transfer or go to a place where maybe there's more emphasis on sports. Yeah.
So during the training, despite those challenges, there are these athletes or these students who are stubborn, but they want to join your team. How do you deal with them?
Well, there's usually no compromise with discipline. You have to be disciplined to be able to stay in a team. If you're not disciplined, then you cannot fit anywhere. Not even in the Olympics, you will not be allowed if you're indisciplined. So discipline, there's no compromise.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what are some of the benefits you get through your passion?
Personally, I think I just the satisfaction of changing the young people's lives, because nobody pays me. The school does not pay me. The managers who got the top athletes who are former my school, they don't pay me. Nobody pays me. I really just did it because I was just happy to see lives changing from the village level, and somebody getting economically stable to the extent that they could also help other people and help their families. So just the peace of mind and the satisfaction that I get in my heart when my athlete succeeds. Yeah, I don't even ask my athletes to pay back. Yeah.
So it's an act of helping them.
Yeah, it's an act of helping. Yeah, I do it for them entirely.
If someone say that today, I don't want you to be a coach or a teacher, I want you to choose between being a chef and a doctor, which one will you go for?
I don't have a call to be a doctor, and I don't have a call to be a chef.
No, someone has just come and give you that, and you must choose between the two of them. Which one will you go for?
Well, if I'm a chef, I'll start a chef athletics team. If I'm a doctor, I'll make sure the doctors and nurses train in running. Depends on the circumstances and where I am. Mm-hmm. As long as I just carry my passion to where I'm taken, and then I'll convert everybody to come running.
So, being a chef, being a doctor, you will still stick to being an athlete?
Yes, they all have legs to run. Maybe there are some misplaced chefs who are supposed to be runners. Mm-hmm. I'll be able to, because even when I went to the high schools, the high school where I produced most world champions, the athletics was actually dead. It was virtually not there. Mm-hmm. And so when I went there and started running with the students, every training with them, and then the sports started coming up. So the place where I went, the dominant sport was volleyball. So whenever we went to that, it was a volleyball academy actually. But I went there and started getting the runners. We got the best runners in the world record breakers, you know, the Olympians. Mm-hmm. Yeah, out of a place where they thought running could not come out of. So try me with Jeffrey and try with the hospitals, and you'll see what teams I can produce.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, if you can compare between Kenya, the way they train, and other countries where you have been, mm-hmm. How can you compare the two, or the money with Kenya?
Comparison will take very many different aspects, you know, and that will be a very wide area to discuss. But basically speaking, there's more natural talent and more natural runners in Kenya than most first world countries. It's easy to get people to run in this country. It's easy to get teams. It's easy to train. There are many more off-roads. There's the right altitude. The culture is there, and it's always far much more easier. The talent base is so wide in Kenya. You get spoiled for choice. In other countries, maybe they have to choose between many sports, and then a few of them choose running. But in Kenya, basically everyone is a runner first. Every student is a runner first before he becomes a student. So the pool is so wide, and it's easy to pick. That's based on background and culture. There are things like financially, running is cheaper to start, so most Kenyans can do it. They can start it. It's not like other sports, which like cycling or swimming, which require expensive equipment, or golf or tennis. So on the financial aspect, that's also an issue. The government aspect, I think also there's more government support with athletics, and so much tilted said that most Kenyan teams in the Olympics, more than half of it are usually runners, athletes. So there are many factors which favor running really in this country against other sports. And in other countries, it's the opposite. Maybe they favor other sports. They might favor soccer, they might favor cycling, they might favor swimming. Different countries have got different tastes, different likes, different cultures, different people. Yeah.
As you continue with the interview, there is an event on 30th June which is held in Eldoret by Monasporti. For registration, you can visit their offices in Haiti's building, 4th floor, Atlanta room, or at the Anchor building, room number 306, Jarob Travel Agency. Coach Chrispine, you said you're doing coaching as your passion. Is there anyone in your family or maybe your children who are following your steps?
Oh yes, all my children have, in one way or another, followed my footsteps. And I can say that each one of them had their own attempt in the world of sports. All of them, because I was the national cycling captain, they were able to acquire bicycles with ease at home, and they all rode. And my first two daughters both made it to the national team. And my second-born daughter, called Joyce, who is now an advocate, became the first Kenyan female to win a medal in the Continental Championships in Botswana, Maputo, in mountain bike. And my son was doing cycling, then he changed into sprints. He's now training in sprints, 100, 200, and 400 in Kasarani in Nairobi. Fortunately, those are not the areas of focus in scholarship, so he does not fall within the domain unless he changes into longer distances. And then I've got one other, my little boy is a youth, 13 years old, last weekend he won the Africa Duathlon Youth Championship. So he's the continental champion in duathlon, that's cycling and running. He's a pretty good runner as well, but he loves both sports, so I'm trying to expose him to the world of duathlon, because that's where I won the most gold medals in duathlon. I was a professional in duathlon in Europe and Asia, so the young boy just wants to become like me.
That's good.
Yeah.
And there's this an issue of relationship under the athlete sport, where coach and athletes are having an affair, athlete and athlete, then scholarship, those who are having scholarships, they're having an affair. How do you think this affects this sport?
That's a deviation from the normal moral expectations in sports, and it deviates the focus from achieving to something else. So basically, a relationship should be completely eradicated in the area of sports. Particularly the coach and the athletes has done a lot of harm, especially to female athletes, and it has spoiled so many careers. And so coaches should actually be banned if they are found in such engagements or relationship with minors or with girls. And then between the athletes themselves, the discipline of the camp should not allow for that, because once people are courting within the camp, then it means that the normal training business is not being done to the level best. So basically, anything which deflects attention of the runners in the camp, whether between the athlete themselves or the coach and the athlete, should be discouraged, should be eliminated, should be done away with, and such athletes should be given suspension or expulsion if they do not change. Yeah.
What is your view about the upcoming Malaysia Gold competition that is going to happen soon?
Well, I guess I'll rephrase the question for you. I've won several gold medals when I was a pro athlete in Malaysia, pro duathlete. Yeah, so I won the Tower-Don Gold in 2006. It involved running upstairs, the tallest building, one of the tallest buildings in the world. So I won that race against 500 elite men. I was first in 2006. If you Google, someone will get it. Called Forest Tower in Malaysia. I won Powerman Malaysia, 2005, I was the gold medalist against an elite field from all over the world. The second person was Adams from Australia, then there was Sharon Abdallah from Malaysia. We made the podium, but I took the gold. Then I also won silver and bronze in the subsequent years in the same competition. I won a multimedia road race in Malaysia also. I also won a walking event, 12-hour walk event in Malaysia. So basically, I've won many gold medals in Malaysia and in Britain. In Britain, I also won about 4 events. And I was doing running and I was doing cycling. I won duathlons in Great Britain, first place. So basically, I've got a history of winning international events, and I've been training myself. I've never had a coach. I do Google, I do a lot of research, and I train myself based on the programs you can get on the internet.
Sure. And if you are given a chance to change anything or add anything in the field of athlete sport, what will it be that you will have changed?
Well, it depends on what you want to be changed. there are changes which are beyond my scope, and there are those which are within my scope. Yeah. Those which are beyond my scope might require huge capital, huge political decisions, huge policies which are from the government. But on my side, I think I've not wasted any chance to change anything which I could change in the world of athletics. If there's anything new which will come now, of course there are emerging issues like doping, and there's issues like you have to train the student, the athletes, to know that there's substances which are prohibited. And I'm just taking some anti-doping lessons now by myself, so that when I'm coaching these young athletes, I can start feeding them the right information that there are some substances they have to keep off from. They have to be careful when they're given anything which might contain prohibited substance, because that's the main challenge now for the Kenyan runners, that doping is becoming a very delicate issue, which almost made our country be banned. So at the moment, I think that's a key issue which I'd like runners to change the attitude, to have knowledge on it, and if I'm given a chance to train them and teach them on issues to do with doping, the doping menace, I think I would not waste any time.
As we wind up, what would you like to tell to our viewers?
Well,
anything you'd like to tell them?
Well, I just like to tell them that changing young people's lives is something so important to society. And when you do some things, for example, the world record breaker Joycelyn Koech, when she broke the half marathon world record, and she was interviewed, in her very first interview, she mentioned my name and said that she thought she could not run, but I kept urging her to keep on running, kept taking her for the time trials and training until she believed in herself. So my reward, when I'm mentioned like that, is bigger than anything you can pay me. So it's important that people know that the youngsters require help, and we should not put money first or wealth first. We should put the life of those youngsters first, and endeavor to change it to the better through athletics. Yeah.
That's all we have for our interview today. And if anyone wants to reach you for the coaching, how can they reach you?
Well, you can get me on Facebook or Omondi Chrispine, Omondi Chrispine. You will see somebody who looks sporty with a red and black vest. I just won a gold medal in Malaysia, and I was doing this sign, and you'll see me awarded also on the front page by the president for Powerman. He's giving me an award on the front page. You know that's me, because there are more than 200 Chrispine Omondis or Omondi Chrispines. So that's the way you're going to get to know me. My phone lines are 254-712-861929, or through email omondicrisp2014@gmail.com. Yes.
Thank you very much. Remember, keeping fit is not a destination, it's a journey. Stay committed and consistent. Remember, there is an ongoing registration for the road race events, which is sponsored by Monosporty Events. For more information, click the link below. My name is Ahmed Hafsa.